game. So proud of the grit and the perseverance of our football team, down 17-0 on the road in the SEC against, that's a veteran, football team, especially on the defensive side of the ball. The guys work so hard, it's hard to give, they're not going to give up. That's in their DNA. They're not going to, let the rope slip. They're just going to keep playing. Now, it's not perfect by any means, but it's early in the season. We've played two really good opponents, Power 4 conference opponents in USC and UCLA, and we've had the lead in the fourth quarter twice. One we let slip away, and this one we finished off. Look, football teams take on, identities and personalities. This group's going to battle. It may not be the cleanest. We'll continue to coach them because they want to do so well for LSU. They want to do it the right way, and they're going to work at it. And just really proud of the way they blocked out the noise, because I don't think anybody picked us to win this game. Everybody, had South Carolina winning this game. So they blocked out that noise this week and just focused on getting themselves ready to compete on the road against an SEC opponent. We had a freshman come in today and Caden Durham and produce some really important yards for us. Look, it's the SEC. You got to make people miss. You got to break through tackles. That's just the nature of it. And he did a great job today. And obviously Nuss continues to do great things at the quarterback position. But again, down 17-0, I think tells the story about the grit and the perseverance of this team.
Brian, from the opener, you mentioned how the offense put the defense in spots that it maybe wasn't quite ready for. Defense gave the offense two separate tries in the fourth quarter today to go down and try to take that lead. So just speak on maybe the growth you've seen out of that group just in the last couple of weeks.
Well, we had some complimentary football. I thought some of the big takeaways were the defensive stops that we had, that when we turned the ball over, generally, you would see that turn into a touchdown. We kept them to field goals. And so we showed that resolve defensively. And then we started to play some complementary football where, we get a stop on defense and then we score on offense. And we hadn't done that the first couple of weeks. So there's improvement there. But the great thing about it is there's great fight. They fight like LSU Tigers, and that's what we want for our fans. That's what they want for all their family. That's what they want, for their teammates. And they showed that today. If they continue to do that, which I know they will, because they're going to continue to prepare the right way, we just need to execute better. And if we do that, it's going to be a really good team.
If you have a question, raise your hand, Wilson.
I know I had some struggles in the red zone at times today, but then there, late in the fourth quarter, Josh Williams scores. Can you take us through that play call and just sort of what went into finally getting there in the end zone in a crucial moment?
Well, I can tell you what the play calls were that we struggled with. We got into the full house tee, and we have some new players in there, Gabe Relaford and Caleb, and we want that to be our kind of blue zone, short yardage, and we just didn't execute. We were a little late on some of our blocks. We got some penetration. Nuss got knocked off on that fourth down. If we're just a little bit more aggressive with our blocks, he's got Josh in the corner of the end zone. So it's timing. It's just being a little bit better at those plays, and we would have been really good in that blue zone. The play call there was we had two shots. From the two, we were going to take one shot with the sprint out, roll out pass, and then we were going to run it twice. So that was the first of a two-play sequence that we were going to run the football. So if we got it to probably 4th and 1 or less, it was probably going to be, quarterback sneak or something like that, but we were going to run it twice.
Bryce?
Ryan, you talked about not letting go of the rope. It feels like the quarterback embodied that pretty well. Can you talk just maybe the mental side, what you saw of him? He looked pretty animated coming off the sideline and just keeping that level head and being able to get some big drives.
Yeah, I mean he's part of that. I mean he's a great leader. He communicates that to the group. He stays positive. You know, he throws a pick in the red zone and he comes back the next series. You would never know that he made a mistake. He can forget those plays and move on to the next, and that's what you have to be a quarterback in the SEC, and elite quarterbacks have to do that. He just has that ability to go back and forget that play and move on to the next. And again, I think that's what makes him special.
Jared, in the back.
Brian, the fact that, of course, you lose John Emery in the backfield, and now you have a freshman stepping up the way Caden has done. How big does that really help their running back room when you have somebody dominating?
Well, it sets a standard of what we're looking for. Like, I mean, I think all those backs needed to see what we're asking them to do. You know, Caden broke 3 or 4 tackles. I mean, that's the nature of the SEC. You're going to have that extra guy coming down, and that's why you're on scholarship, okay? Quite frankly, you got to make some of these guys miss, and you got to run through some tackles, and we can't block them all the time. And he just did a really good job of showing himself today and setting a standard of what we need at that running back position.
Cobble.
Just Aaron Anderson, some big conversions for
Yeah, came up big when we needed him.
And then just the linebackers. How do you think they worked out today?
Well, I mean, look, I mean, we could, if they're not on the field, you know, we don't win the game. Those are our best guys, right? But look, we want to fit plays better. You know, when there's long runs, there's things that we need to clean up, right? But they're great players. They did a lot of good things today. You know, like I told our staff, like, I love the work ethic. I love the way they come to work and prepare. We just got to get cleaner. You know, we gotta clean up some things.
Chase.
Coach, you mentioned it, defense made a lot of big plays today, but also a lot of mistakes. So that kind of style of defense that's like boom or bust, do you, in the coaching staff, do you feel that's sustainable?
I'll be careful how I answer this question. We want to be better defensively, and a lot of this, all of this that you saw today on both sides of the ball, all of it is correctable, and all of it can be coached, and all of it can be executed. So if we couldn't coach it, right, and it couldn't be executed, then we got to take it out. Like, if it's a scheme, we can't call that anymore. If it's a play that we can't run, then we got to take it out. Everything that we did today, we have to do better coaching it, and we have to do a better job executing it, and we're capable of doing it. We have to be better, and we will be.
Shock.
What about the mistakes in special teams you were able to overcome today?
I don't want to comment on. We had a bad snap. That's clear. He has been so good for the last 3 years. That's the first bad snap he's had in 3 years. It was untimely. Untimely because it could have affected the game. But he has been so good. That was unfortunate. The block punt, I'm going to have to take that up with our SEC office. We believe it was an illegal block, and we voiced our concern with it. We will address it with the SEC officiating crew, and John McDade. We believe we have an argument there, and we'll bring it up to them.
In the back.
The defense has moves today, Coach, but a guy that had a great day was Braden Swenson. He had 4 tackles with 3 sacks, 1 forced fumble. What can you kind of say what he's kind of meant to that defensive front?
You know, I don't want to take your question away from you, but Swenson was not the only one. There were a number of guys that that played at that level. Savion played really well. Parashan played both inside and outside. So it's a good question, but I don't want to just point him out. He had a good game, but those four ends played really well. Swinson was the dropper, so you got a chance to see him in space, and he did some really good things for us. But all those ends played really well today.
Okay, we have time for two more. Wilson?
Brian, how do you think Lenore Sellers not being able to finish the game change the complexion of what South Carolina can do offensively?
Ashford looked pretty good in there too. Obviously, he had the long touchdown run. It's hard to say one way or the other. I think what happened is clearly we got to the third down situations that we wanted to. We wanted to get them in third down, either Sellers or Ashford. And when we got them into third down, we were the victors, and that's really the end of the game. We were able to get third down situations and make them predictable. It's kind of what I thought we needed to do. They were able to stay on schedule earlier with Sellers in the game, but when Ashford came in, we were able to get him off schedule, and that was really the difference.
Brad, you got the last one.
Brian, you're down 17-0. Did you have to change anything, say anything, or you said you liked the fight of the team? Did you see in their demeanor and their play that they didn't feel like we're out of it, and you decided to keep playing?
Yeah, I mean, there was no panic on the sideline. I mean, we needed to obviously get a score and come up with a stop and clean up some things. We just the group is a positive group. There's no finger pointing. They know what they needed to do to get back in the game. We needed to get a score, and we knew we were getting the ball in the third quarter, so it was a matter of getting a couple of stops, and we did. And I just never felt like the guys were in a panic mode and didn't feel like they could come back.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Bring the players outside and breezeway there.